model car fans, welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Revell, and this week I'm going to do a video here of all of the Revell 69 Camaro offerings and a bit of a kit history and contents video here. So we'll go through all of these and I'll break it down into some sections. But this is one, I really enjoyed this kit, as you can tell. I mean, here's all of my built-ups that survive. But when this kit came out, and it's hard to believe, this came out in 1990, I believe, was when the first ones came out. And I can't remember, I think the Yanko was the first one to come out. And then the Z28, and then the Baldwin. I can't keep track of it. Kind of foggy right there. But I do have an original issue 69 Z28, that's this one. Well, it is and it isn't. And that's an original issue, Baldwin Motion. I've had the Yanko, the original issue, which is what this one is. And that's my original build. It was molded in yellow, but I don't have one of those kits right now. A lot of these are repops, but they're all representatives. Of course, this is the newest one that just came out, the SS 396. And it took me a while to get a hold of that one because I had to wait for the local shops to get one in. And I picked one up. And then it took me a little while to get ready and do this video and kind of go through them again and refresh my memory. But I remember when this came out in like 1990 and I built one, I couldn't believe it. I had built one of the monogram Rampage 69 Camaros, and that was pretty cool. It was a race car. And I had also done one of the MPC 69 Camaro convertibles. And that's not really a difficult kit, but it's just this body and some of the proportions are just way off on it. You really can't compare it to this kit, these convertible kits. And I mean, there's really not much that actually compares to this one. But when it came out in 1990, it was definitely a game changer and a really detailed kit. And I enjoyed it so much, I went out and I bought the other versions when they came out and built them. But these two survived. They're my original builds and haven't been rebuilt. I built another 69 Yanko right here. Did some modifications to this one, so this one's not box stock. I did the same to this one. This one's out of the box. I don't think I did anything to it. The 69 Z28 I built, that is long gone now. I robbed its grill and its motor, but I had the very first issue of it, and there was a difference in it. And this one's a first issue also, but the issue was correct, and I'll get into that. But I'm going to break this down into 4 sections because there are some major differences and some similarities. Of course, I'll do the Z28s, do all of those kits. And then we'll do the Baldwin Motion, which has a significant difference in kits. Then the Camaros, the convertibles here. And then last we'll do these 4 in one, because while that's a brand new kit, as far as the issue goes, there's only 4 new parts in it. So it is pretty much the same tooling, but there's some small differences in the kits. And I'll go over what all those differences are. But I mean, this is a wonderful kit, and if you've got a specific 69 Camaro that you want to build, this will help you decide which one of these you really want to look for or what to expect in the box. Because there are some small running changes that had appeared also. And I'll throw some of the box art pictures, the ones I don't have, the pictures of this car that I since I don't have it anymore. But I'll bring up some of the differences that were in some of the kits and what to watch out for. So if you need to skip around or whatnot in this video to the section you're looking for, go right ahead. But yeah, I'll go through them quickly and break this down into 4 sections. So I hope this information is useful to you and enjoy it. All right, getting started here, we'll start with the Revell 69 Z28 Camaro offering. Most of them say RS, and this is a 1990 issue, which is, it's really like the second batch of the first issue is what this is, and I'll explain. This is a 1998 issue, and this is a 2009 issue, and some differences here. And the box art is the biggest thing, and this one's molded in blue, but like I said, this is a second issue or corrected issue, and I'll get into that. Basically, and it's shown in the box art here. The 1990 issue, we'll get closer to this. Of course, this is the, how it's presented. And the biggest glaring thing is it's got the RS emblem in the grille. Now, the Z28 would not have the RS emblem in the grille, so that is incorrect. But the very first issue, which I had one, it actually had the RS in the grille, molded in. and they quickly removed that. And I've been trying to find another 1990 issue kit, and I thought I had one when I bought this one. And when I opened it, it was the corrected issue where they had fixed that. And so the RS grill has not reappeared since then, but it's really not that big of a deal now because you can get a photo etched RS emblem. But another thing that's on this, when it comes to the accuracy, it's pretty accurate, but the body has Camaro right here, and there's no 302 emblem here. It's actually shown on this one because this is an actual car. It should actually say Rally Sport right here, and then there should be a 302 emblem on the hood here. Those are missing, but there's the correct grille. But that's just the box art, and this is an actual car. But when it came to the kit, I mean, fully, really nice kit and everything. And the tail panel should not be blacked out on the Z28. But it talks about the kit, and here's the box, just showing you here all the information here. And this is a spare, which is, I bought it because I wanted the parts in it. And this one, while it's pretty much 2008 issue, you get to see, a much better picture of the car. Then I wanted to build this one as an RS. And they pretty much have all of the same pictures. All this one actually has the picture of the corrected grille. All right. And it's pretty much the same kit. And truth be known, these say RS, and this one is a 2-in-1 here, which leads you to believe that you can build it as a standard Z28 and as an RS version, which is more correct because these emblems are all separate pieces. And it's got the big wheels in this kit. And this is from 2009. So they show you the Rally Sport version here. All of them have this cross ram. And it's pretty much the same kit. But the truth be known, when you get into this, here we'll open this one up, because this one was completely mint. So here's the windows, but you see there's the standard headlights, and there's the RS backup lights. So those parts are in there, so you can build both versions from this. Of course, here's this, and you can see the RS grille in this picture, because this is from back then. I kind of love this stuff. It was a sealed kit, but I had opened all of this up. Here's the chrome tree, where you see the steering wheel, the cross ram. Here's the grille, no RS emblem. I haven't been lucky enough to find another one. But like I said, there's now photo etch emblems. But there's the chrome pieces for the headlights, the tail lights, all of the carburetors, since this has 2 4-barrels and a cross ram. So there's that. Here's the tires, of course, which these are the Michelin TRX tires. Those are definitely not right, but that's what the original kits came with. And the directions and the original decal sheet, which this decal sheet had been reprinted and reused multiple times, but you get white and black stripes. And these decals were a little bit hard to get to stretch and get on the kit. And here's another picture of the instructions and the built up here. And I don't think it actually mentions the standard parts. There's all the cross ram stuff. It just shows you putting in that grille, and then the RS backup lights and the RS tail lights. So, put that back. Here's all of this. Of course, here's the taillights where you get the RS taillights, these sets down here, and there's the standard taillights. So there's both sets of taillights. So both of those are in there. And here's the body's kind of wedged on here. There we go. But here's the body with the standard Camaro script. Which for the RS version, that is incorrect, but it's correct for the Z28 version. But this is the molded in blue that the original ones came in, the metallic blue. And I always thought this was cool because you really didn't have to paint it. But I painted mine. I remember using Olds Engine blue on it and putting the stripes on it. So I had airbrushed mine because there's a lot of swirls in here. And this one's no exception. This one's actually folded over. It's not broken free. Well, we'll break it free for this. There it goes. But there's the rear valance panel with no holes on this side, but there are holes on that side to drill so you can get the backup lights there. Here's the chambered exhaust, the rear spoiler. There's a standard grille. And then the wheel backs, the battery, the coil, ignition column, steering column with the shifters and tilt wheel. It's kind of weird. Tilt and turn signal. It's floor shift. The steering gear, which you really didn't see that much back then. The horns, some of the detail stuff here, the dual master. Some of the detail engraving in here is very, very nice. Here's the small block engine with 4-speed, water pump, cross ram, console, belts, the cowl induction for the cross ram setup, the headers, which not really stock. And so there's all of that. The wonderful chassis, Revell 1990, the cross member that goes in there, all the seats, which these are the standard seats. Then you've got your cowl induction hood, radiator core support, front spoiler, the door panels, the standard door panels. I've got a mar in this hood a little bit, not a big deal. And then here's the interior bucket. Sway bar, shocks, front suspension was kind of simplified, rear end, but all the parts right there. But as you can see, it's got all the parts in here to build the Z28 version. Z28 version of the standard and the RS options. This one is the same, just for you guys. I don't have, this one's kind of started, but it's molded in white. Has all the same parts, same decal sheet right here. And then I've got extra parts in here from other ones, but all the parts are here. There's some model car garage photo etch set. But all the same parts are in this kit as that kit, although molded in white. The exception being these tires right here, as it's got the blank Goodyears. Which I prefer these tires over the other ones, even though they're just a tad small. And this one being a 2-in-1, it leads you to believe that you can build both Z28s based on the box art, the standard and the RS version. But as you saw, those parts are in both of those kits as well. So you can do that. The only thing that's really 2-in-1 on this one is the fact that it's got the low profile tires and wheels. You can do the custom ones, which I haven't opened here. And then there's the Goodyear tires here, blank. Same tree there, all the same chrome tree. Here's the custom wheels that come in it. And of course, the body, chassis, all that's the same. Mine's a little short shot in the tail light here, so you can kind of see that. Not really a big deal. That's in an area I can fix. I have other bodies, so that's really not a big deal for me. Well, I think I have other bodies. Hood, all this stuff's the same. There's the rear seat. There's the standard grille, you know, as I mentioned. And then some of the parts here, there's the taillights. And here's a flat hood, because I wanted to make this one your basic thing. So this is basically the 67 Z28 AMT hood here. Here's a resin copy, the exact same hood. Full-on resin copy of it. Which is one of the things I wanted to do, because not all Z28s had the cowl induction hood. So this hood pretty much fits right in there, and you can get those MPC hoods to actually fit. So that was my intention with this, is build it that way. So we'll get all of this stuff put back away, and I'll get into the next batch. So stay tuned. All right, moving on in our kit history here, I'm going to go over these the Baldwin Motion versions of the Revell 69 Camaro tooling here. I have to say this is probably my favorite version of this because of the unique parts and the car it represents and everything along with it. And then on top of it, was a little bit of controversy that really stirred up at the time, and I didn't realize quite as much about that as I do now, especially after doing the video while researching this, and I felt like really going over, and I featured this build. So recently you saw that build on this. So this is my original one from 1991, painted it green just like the real car. And some of the giveaways, it's got the Motion decals, Motion plates and Mr. Motion decals, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I jacked the rear end up to make it a little bit higher, and then I added the traction bars to it. So there's a couple items that aren't exactly from the kit, but this is just my original build, from 30 years ago. And it's hard to believe that these kits are now over 30 years old, for what they are, and just how amazing of a kit they are, as a groundbreaking kit and everything. But this one, this one is mine, so I'm gonna open this one up and go through the components and show you all of the parts inside, and then we're gonna go over all of these boxes and all of the different versions. But the Skips Fiesta is the first release, from 1991 through apparently 1993, but I'll get into that. And then they had two other versions as well, the green box art cars. There's the Street Burner series, and then another one that was just a Revell Baldwin Motion Camaro. And both of those said Baldwin Motion like these two do, and this one doesn't. So I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But first, let's get into the actual components of the kit. So we'll get this one open. And, a lot of this is the same as the 427 and the convertible and the Z28. So like this sheet, there's nothing different here. It's got the same seats as the Z28 and the Yanko. So all of these parts are the same. We got the same body, of course. It's all molded in red. The original ones were molded in red. Later ones were molded in white, but the Camaro emblem, Camaro on the back, no SS emblems. But all the coupe bodies have this body, no Rally Sport emblems here. And, it's just, it's the same body. So I'm kind of going over some of this fast. Here's the same interior tub, bucket seats on here. Here's my rear axle, which is falling off. So some of these are starting to fall off because I've been handling and playing with them. And, there's not really much holding them on. But this is unchanged as far as all those kits go. Then we got the same clear tree. Now you do have the headlights for the standard grille, and then the Rally Sport backup lights. It's all here. This is unchanged other than the convertible kit. You got both sets of taillights. As I mentioned, every single one of these kits seems to have both sets of taillights, your standard taillights and your Rally Sport taillights. And here's where things start to get a little bit different. This tree has your standard door panels and all of your suspension here. But here's your Baldwin Motion hood, which is a special hood, and it's only in the Baldwin Motion versions. And it's molded kind of like the fiberglass hood and everything. So got some nice under hood detail and everything. And it's a really nice hood. And here's your dash. All of them have this same dashboard. This tree is a little bit different. You've got your rear valance, which, has no holes in it, so it would be the regular or the RS. You drill little holes in them, but there are in the back. Your wheel backs, your battery, steering gear, steering column, all of these parts on here to the side are the same. Your brake booster. But here is your Baldwin Motion wing. That is special to the Baldwin Motion kits. Your bullet mirrors, which are also a Baldwin Motion kit only. And here's your side pipes, which are, of course, Baldwin Motion, and they're really cool. So the stock exhaust is not in this kit. And also missing that would be on this tree on the other kits is the standard grille. So you do not get the standard grille on this kit, and you do not get the center console as well. That's in the convertible kit and in the Z28 kit, but it's not in the 427 kits, the Yankos and this one. So that's not in there, but there's some of the unique parts. And then of course, here's the big block motor. and your 2 steering wheels, your deluxe steering wheel and your standard steering wheel, or vice versa, your intake, water pump, the rest of the stuff, and your headers. Now these headers are, in all the big block ones, the Z28 kit has different headers, but it has headers. None of these kits have the stock exhaust manifolds. So it's kind of one of the drawbacks on some of these, but these are by far correct for Baldwin Motions, as he put headers on his cars when he built them and prepped them and guaranteed them, the Phase 3s. Now here is your tires that came in these, the Goodyear Polyglass GTs. The early ones are lettered. Later kits are kind of smooth, don't have the detail on them. So got those. And your chrome tree. I'm going to bring this up specifically because it's got the chrome SS grille, which doesn't appear in any others except for the convertible. Then you've got your valve covers, your rally wheels, just like the Z28, but not in the Copo or the Yankos. They have different wheels. Your chrome for the headlights there, fuel pump, shifter, taillight, backings, license plates, and your inside rearview mirror. The standard rearview mirror is also on this tree, but I took mine off of here, but I'll show you another one. And then your carburetors. But I bring this up because here's the Fly Eye air cleaner that's specific to the Baldwin Motion kits. Now, there's one issue that is notorious for not having this. So here's the chrome tree that seems to appear in the Street Burner series kit. It has this grille, also has all the Baldwin Motion chrome here for the hood, the mirrors, just like this one. Got all of those on there. And the big block valve covers, all of this. But here's the stock air cleaner that's in the Cal induction versions. And then you got your bumpers. Then here's that mirror I was mentioning. But all these parts are the same, but it's got one carburetor and it's got the door handles. Now this one doesn't have door handles, has 2 carburetors. Now the Z28 has 2 carburetors, and that's the only one that really needs it, but all of the kits have that. Now what seems to have happened is when they came out with the convertible kit, they came out with this chrome tree with the stock air cleaner because it has the Cal induction, and the convertibles use these door handles. So after the convertible kits were made, some of these versions show up with these door handles. Well, the Street Burner series seems to have this chrome tree in it with this stock air cleaner and not this one. And I don't believe that is all of them, but it does seem to affect the Street Burners, a lot of those. The molded and red ones have the right chrome tree. There's just another issue with this. So let me set that aside and we'll get into the boxes. Now, here's what I didn't quite remember. Mine being the original issue, it was this box right here. So this is the actual very first version, and this is a mint kit. Now, Dan Doan and I, we were having a really nice discussion about this, and he loaned me these 2 kits. They're his kits because we were talking about the box art and everything, so we really had to go over them. So here's his. There's the Baldwin Motion 427 Camaro and the car on the box. Notice the Motion license plate. He was talking about that. Mine has, the original Motion decals on it, and this is from 1991. And it's interesting because on the side of the box says, one of the hottest factory-built dealer Austral performance cars of the 60s, special hood and rear spoiler, fitted with side exhaust, 427. So this talks about the package, but doesn't mention Baldwin Motion. Copyright 1991 right here. You can see the Motion plates, and then, on all of these decals in the box here, which, and this one has all the decals in the back window and everything. So it's kind of funny. Now make a note of that. And then of course Motion on this side. And on the inside, it says Baldwin Motion 427 Camaro. And here in the wording, it actually talks about the Chevy dealership in southwestern Long Island, Baldwin Chevrolet, and with Joe Rosen and Motion Performance, going up against. So the instructions actually talk about Joe Rosen and Motion Performance and Baldwin Chevrolet and everything, which really cool. And then the decal sheet, that's another one where they differ. And this is the same one I had there. All the stripes in white, Revell 1991, but it has these decals right here. And I'm like, cool. Now, of course, this being the very first issue, now what I understand happened is they didn't have permission to make these kits for Baldwin Motion from Joe Rosen and everything. From what I've heard through a few people, I'm not the official authority on it, is that they didn't go to him or get permission to do this kit, and it caused quite a bit of a stink. Don't know all the details on it, but that's where these boxes get interesting. So we'll move on to this box. Now this is the one that Dan Doan was telling me about that he has, and I don't think I've noticed this one before. Now, one of the things you can see, these two boxes, if it shows up in the camera, they're the same height, the same dimensions and everything. This box is taller. So if you see that, it's taller. But it has all the same wording here. One of the hottest factory built dealer. It has all of that. This is not changed. What I noticed is there's no 1991 copyright date here. Okay, and this is what Dan was bringing up. He goes, it says Baldwin Motion here. There's no motion plate on the front. So I think they were starting to edit everything, and this is just my thoughts at this point. It says 1991 there, but it has motion plate here, the motion plates and all the decals on here, and then of course the motion plate here. Now when you get into the box, now this one's open. It says Stage 3 427 Camaro, and the wording is completely gone. They just put this car in there. So it doesn't talk about the kit at all. And then here's its decal sheet and copyright 1993. And notice the bottom, it just says Stage 3 Camaro, and all of the motion decals are gone. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then when he was talking about that, I went and looked at my kit, and sure enough, my kit, the same thing. You know, no Baldwin Motion, no motion there. Motion's been removed here. This has not been changed, but it says copyright 1991 on it. All right, motion's been removed off the side, the motion plate. The motion plate's been removed here, but notice it's still got the decal on the bumper and the decals in the rear window. All right, and it has the exact same decal sheet and instructions. Phase 3, Camaro here, and same 1993 copyright decals. So this is another 1993 issue, which I think they were just reboxed. They basically just took them and reboxed them. I'll put all that in there. So it's kind of funny that they've got one box, which I think was a partial fix, but they didn't remove all of it. So it's kind of interesting. And then here's, another set of decals. Like I said, I've had a number of these. Here's another set where I just cut those, 1993. But this is one of the green box art ones that came out in 2001, where it actually says Baldwin Motion Camaro, and there's the kit number. And the box says Baldwin Motion, and it's in green. They restored those decals and put them back on the sheet right there. And I understand the Street Burner series also has this decal sheet with all of these decals. It's just that particular one, you got a good chance that it's not going to have the correct air cleaner in it. But if you really want to go for it, trying to find the right version of this, as far as the early one, which the decals are kind of muddy and not as crisp as far as them. The white ones, these 1993 ones, they're just a little bit crisper and nicer. So I'm not sure about the quality of all of the decals. But even though these ones are from 1991 or 2001 and these are from 1993, so these ones look like they're much more usable. But I will find out eventually when I get to it. But all of the decals are white. If you want black decals, Ray's Kit Decals actually offers them in black, and I believe they'll do them in pretty much any color you want. And then on top of it, I think Keith Marks may have done the decals as well. I don't quite remember. I just know I didn't like how it came out here, and it's one of the things that I want to fix about it. But I'll build one of these eventually and get to it. But I just wanted to go over this kit, and I really wanted to show you the boxes here and thank Dan Doan for letting me use his too, because when he was trying to tell me, I didn't grasp what he was trying to tell me and say, hey, there's differences in the instruction sheets and there's differences in the boxes, but he had not really seen my box. But I seem to run into this box that doesn't say Baldwin Motion anywhere on it. So that's why I'm kind of bringing up the specific boxes. And I know the same thing kind of happened with the Corvette kit too, because my Baldwin Motion 427 Corvette 69 also doesn't say Baldwin Motion on it, the one I've currently got. But anyway, we'll continue on and we'll move on to the next section of these kits. Well, moving on to this one. This is the 69 Camaro RS SS convertible. This is the first couple of issues. In 1996, it came out this way as the pace car, and they haven't reissued the pace car like this before or since then. So this was only this 1 year. And then a few years later, in 1999, this one was issued, which they have all the same parts. The decal sheets are a little different, of course, because of the pace car. And this one is mostly a sealed kit. It's really a spare kit for me, so I'm not really going to open it. I'll open it, but not open it, because I have built one already as the pace car. And realistically, if you really want the box art for this one, you can get the same kit and go ahead and buy the decals, because I had issues with the decals with mine, so I ended up buying extra decals. But this is the kit. And as I mentioned on the box, I talk about the actual race, pacing 33 of the fastest cars in 1969, and its duties there. And then here's the side of the box, of course, and then the other side, where they're showing you the stripes and the engine and all the good stuff in here. And so I'll open this up, and I'm going to show you the decals first, really. Since this is pretty much a sealed kit and all of this stuff is the same, so I'm just going to move this off to the side. But and the tires can be a little different. These ones have the Goodyear, the ones that are actually got the writing on them for the Goodyear Polyglass GTs, which I like these tires much better than the TRXs the earliest ones came with. Then, of course, the instruction sheet here just talks about the pace car and building it, but the instruction sheet really isn't any different than any of the rest of them. So it's pretty easy to build, pretty straightforward. And then the decals, where to place all the decals and everything. But speaking of the decals, here's the original sheet, which are really nice decals printed up. And they had a special company do it. It's all right here. And when they were probably new, it probably wasn't an issue, but this kit's from 1996. And my first kit, the decals crumbled. These are kind of a matte finish. Looks like they would lay down really well. These decals might actually be fine. Don't really know, but I have had issues with decals from Revell monogram kits of this era. And these were no real exception here, which is why I got these. These are from Fireball Designs, and let me just get the, here we go, from Fireball Designs, and I think he's still operating, although the website is no longer up, but I believe he's still doing it. But I bought 2 sets of these, one for this spare kit, and then of course the set I used on that. And the big difference here is the flag decals aren't there, and the houndstooth decals are not there. But everything else pretty much is. So the engine ones and all that stuff, and the emblems, he's got the emblems on here, but some of these other decals are not here. So it's not a full sheet like this one, but it worked. And I had a little issue. They really did stretch and lay down, but they came out really nice on my build here. So pretty happy with that, and they worked out pretty nicely. And then, so since it's pretty much the same kit, I'm gonna, go through the contents of this one. Now, this is the 1999 issue, and it's been issued 2 more times after this. There's a yellow box art car with the Muscle Machines, I believe, is the logo. I'll put those box arts up. And then also a white box art car, and they show the different stripes on them, where I believe one of them has a side stripe that's pictured here. The other one has the Z28 style stripes. But both sets of decals are in the box, and that's what I understand. The big difference is, like, my Z28 has these big custom wheels in it. Both of those versions also have these wheels in them, and this one doesn't. This is all the stock stuff. But like I mentioned, this is from 1999. Talks about the RSSS convertible, and there's kind of my notes of what I wanted to do with it. I want to build a 69 SS 396 convertible, but not an RS. And there's, of course, the interior shot and the engine compartment. And it's a really nice kit, of course. So we'll get into this. And this one has been opened. We'll start, well, let's start with plastic. So there's your main body, but this one actually has Camaro SS on it and a 396 badge right here on the fender. So that's there and that's there. And it actually has the SS on the tail panel as well, if it'll focus on that. And the extra chrome on the gills right there in the quarter panel. So this has all the emblems, the Camaro emblem, and of course the convertible body, and no door handles. They're actually on the chrome tree, and I bring that up on purpose. Now here's the chassis, the control arms, of course, the convertible boot, the deluxe interior, and the full chassis, same as the car. The seat pattern is different for the deluxe interior. You got both sets of taillights, Rally, Sport, and Standard Camaro. Here's the cross member that fell off that's on this tree. There's the dashboard and the interior tub, the rear axle, front suspension, braces. All of this stuff is the same as the coupe kit. The interior tub is specific to the convertible, so that is all different. And it's got the deluxe seat pattern. Now, it doesn't have a console here. That's it for that. Then here's the rest of you. Got the headers that are in all the big blocks. Here's the big block engine, the Cal induction air cleaner, Cal induction piece for the hood, for the regular Cal induction. Z28 doesn't give you this if you want to put a regular carburetor on it instead of the dual cross ram. I do plan to do that on one of my more regular ones. There's the big block engine with the 4-speed water pump, air cleaner, and the steering wheel. But the other steering wheel that the Baldwin Motion has, the standard one, is not here. Here's your Cal hood, your deluxe door panels, but for the convertible. You can make these work on the coupe, but it would take some work because of the convertible parts. Here's the flags, which all the convertible kits have them. So not just the pace car, they all have them. And here's your chassis. There's the steering wheel, and which on some chrome trees it's on there, but not this one. And your center console. I bring that up because the convertible and the Z28 have this console, but the other ones do not. And your roll pan and your chambered exhaust, all of them have the chambered exhaust, even though that's a super rare option, and most of them didn't actually get that. And then the wheel backs, of course. Now, the chrome tree. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting, especially in some of the other kits. It has the SS grille, which it should, same as the Baldwin Motion. Has all the hood pins right here from the Baldwin Motion, and the mirrors for the bullet mirrors that are not correct. But it has the correct mirror over here. So that's on there. The inside rearview mirror, all the regular stuff, the headlights for the standard grille. It's got the standard grille headlights on a clear tree, but it does not have the actual standard grille. That's not in here. So if you're looking to build a standard RS like I'm planning to, you'll have to find that or get it out of one of the other kits. And of course the big block valve covers and the air cleaner for the Cal induction, the stock air cleaner. This is the one that appears in some of the Baldwin Motion kits, and it shouldn't. And I believe these door handles show up in those as well. So it's kind of like this chrome tree instead by accident from the convertible. So, and these door handles, which none of the coupes have, they have the door handles molded in, but some of the kits have this and some of them don't. So I've run into that a couple of times. But as I mentioned, I want to make an RS out of it. Here's the Goodyear Rallies that this one came with, but they don't have Goodyear on it, or the Goodyear Polyglass GTs, but it does not have Goodyear on it. And then, of course, the instruction sheet. And the decals, I mentioned that it's got all of the stripes. So they've got the white stripes and the black stripes, but those are only for Z28 as far as a factory stock car goes, but you can put them on there. The only other one that had it was the pace car, like right there in orange. Here's the SS stripes that they came with, both of them. And it tells you in the directions you can put them all on there to really make one gaudy looking Camaro, but that's technically not correct for factory stock. But it has the console and everything. It has the houndstooth here, which is just the black and then its clear section, which is what I used on here because mine crumbled, and I used the later decal sheet to get that going. Now, since I said I wanted to make an SS, see, there's the clear tree with the headlights, and it uses the same windshield as the coupe, but the rear glass is there, so they keep giving you this glass. This is the SS hood that comes in the MPC Camaro convertible. So I've used that a couple of times. The green one you see earlier in the video, I have this hood, but now Revell is offering it in another kit. And then of course, I grabbed one of my spare standard grills and threw it in here because that's what I want to make. And you know, it's not in the actual convertible kits. So if you're looking for this, all the Z28s have both grills, and then pretty much all of the Yankos have it as well. So that pretty much concludes this. But this build, I pretty much built it mostly out of the box, other than the decals and all the foil work. But the grill, that's got the photo etched grills on it, and I sanded through that, so you really can't see it because it's all black on behind it. But it's pretty much out of the box. I really haven't featured this one either. I will at a later date, but really enjoyed building that one. And you know, want to do the standard RS version, or standard RS or standard SS non-RS package convertible, which is what I want to build out of this one. And probably, I don't know if I'll do the painted bumper or not, but so I'll continue on and we'll move on to the next batch of them. All right, moving on to this batch here. I grouped all four of these together on purpose, mainly because they are pretty much the same kit, even though this was issued in 1990, the Yanko 427 Coupe. In the hot rod box, I have built that one. Actually, that's what this one is the molded in yellow original release. Not quite out of the box. None of these are right out of the box, but I'll get to those in a little bit. But we'll get into the contents of all of these. But this is a straight reissue from 2003 of the 427 Yanko. This is the 2016 issue of the same 427 Yanko. It's got the Fast and Furious box, but the decals are a little bit different in this one. I prefer the decals in this one over this one. This one, the decals are a straight reissue of the original ones, so the decals are kind of the same, although these ones are cleaned up and a little bit crisper compared to the original hot rod release. But I'll show you the decals in this one and all the contents in this one. And in 2013, this ZL1 the Camaro kit came out. That is pretty much a straight reissue also. The only thing they added here, the decals are different, and it added the poverty caps or dog dish caps, the plain steel wheels, if you will, whatever you want to call them. So those wheels and tires were added to this kit. And then if you notice the bow tie and the grill, but we'll get into that. And then this is the newest release that just came out a few months back, the 69 Camaro SS 396. This only really has 4 new parts to it, but it also has these poverty caps in this one, which appeared in this one. So it has those wheels and tires, but they added the SS emblem in the grill, the hood, and the chrome inserts on there. So there's the 4 new parts on that. So that's why I grouped them together, because these all pretty much share the same tooling all the way from 1990. 95% of the parts are all the same. So I'm going to get into these kits. I'll show you the contents of this one, because this one is not built at all. It's right out of the box, where this one, I had plans for it and I started to pull it apart. So some parts are off the trees, but these are the same parts. So let me move these aside here and we'll get to those. So starting with this one, like I said, this is the Fast and Furious version. AMT had the license at first. Now Revell has it. But this is the exact same 427 that they've had for the longest time, since 1990. Oh, this is the 2016 issue. So let's start with this. As you can see, it's pretty much everything's still on the trees. We'll pull these off. All right, as I've talked about the clear tree, this is still the same, has not changed since the Z28 kit. Has all the headlights, the RS backup lights, the windshield, and that. Here's the tires. These are the Goodyear Polyglass GTs, although these ones are plain, no lettering on them at all. The original release had the TRX tires on them, and then this one has a set of these also, and I think these ones had the lettering on them. And of course, here's the chrome tree that we see all the time. Now, a couple of things I want to note on this one. One is the Atlas wheels that the Yankos have. So those were changed for this issue. The RS grill has been deleted, so there's no RS grill at all. So you can't really make an RS out of these kits when you buy them. Stock mirror here. 2 carburetors, which that's right from the Z28 kit. That's fairly common, but I want to make a note of that too, because some of the later issues ended up with the door handles. So the fuel pump, shifter, bumpers, which these are kind of the deluxe bumpers with their bumper guard on the rear. On some of these, I've actually sanded those off and had the bumper re-chromed just to give me the down ones, which would be more correct for one of these cars, as they were a base and really didn't have those. But there's a note of that. And the excellent instructions, of course, which really hasn't changed. They give you, show you where all the decals go, but really good instructions, of course. Here's the decal sheet. This is the one I prefer. Go looking for this one. You can see it's pretty expansive. It's got the 427, the Yankos, Camaro, the gauges here, headrest decals in black and white. Although I think they all had black interior. And then Yanko tuned, and then all of these decals right here for the engine, which is really nice. So they added all of those. So getting into the kit, here's the body, which is exactly the same as the Z28 and the Baldwin Motion. It's got Camaro here, no emblems on the rest of the body. Camaro on the front and then the deck lid. So that it has not changed. Here's the engine tree, which this is the 427 engine and 4-speed. The Cal induction air cleaner, those are different from the Baldwin Motion kit and not in the Z28 kit. Big block heads, all the rest of the big block stuff. The SS steering wheel, and then headers. These are specific to the big block, but they're same as the Baldwin Motion, and the hoses, of course. And we've got this tree, exactly the same. Standard door panels, all these parts. The Cal induction hood that appears in the Z28 kit. But as I mentioned, the piece of the Cal part is different right here, because this is for the single 4-barrel and not the cross ram the Z28 has. Here's the exhaust tree. Here's the chambered exhaust. The standard, what just fell? Standard grill, rear panel. All the rest of these parts are exactly the same. The rear spoiler, which is the regular one. Interior tub, of course. Door panels, rear end, all of these parts. This is all the same, so that's unchanged. Here's the seats, this cross member, and the entire chassis with the molded in Revell 1990 and China. This keeps changing every now and then. I like to sand that off now. And then this cross member, as I mentioned, which this works with the headers. I'll talk more about changing the exhaust out, but you've got to modify this and clearance it quite a bit if you want to put stock exhaust manifolds. And then, of course, both sets of taillights, which all the kits have this. Here's what fell. That's the oil filter. So, when it comes to the other version, the earlier version, this one, as I mentioned, I have some plans for it. It talks about Yanko. Here's my notes. I was going to make a ZL1 out of this one. And then, of course, the 427, the Yanko, and all this stuff right here. So you've probably seen this box. This is one of the most common ones that I've seen. But since I was going to do a ZL1 on it, that's why some of these parts are different. But pretty much the same instructions. But here's the decal sheet. See, not quite as much. Got 427, which is just plain old white, SYC in black and white. The Yanko one's here. So it's fairly nice, but not as comprehensive as the later issue. But the original issue had this exact same decal sheet, but the ones I had were just a bit more muddy and not quite as crisp as this one. So the later ones seem to be much nicer as far as that goes. But as I mentioned, you know, here's the body, mocking it up. Here's the tires. This one has the plain ones. And then all the same stuff I was mentioning before. But I get to the bottom here. Here you can kind of see I've got the plain dog dish wheels and the dog dish hubcaps. Those are actually from the 70 Copo Nova kit, which is where I got those, and I threw them in there because I was going to make a rally ZL1 version. So that was my plan with this particular one. But then this kit came out. This is the ZL1 version. And they issued it just the one time that I know of so far, 2013. But in reality, you can almost make that a ZL1 other than the hood part. So I got my notes here of, there's a specific ZL1 that I wanted to do with this one. So this is from 2013. It kind of talks about the ZL1. But when it comes to the actual kit, oh, these are some, oh, I'll get to this stuff. The kit is all the same components inside this bag. The cowl hood, so that nothing has changed in here. But they did add these dog dish wheels and chrome caps. I've got them open in that one, so I'll kind of show it more in that one than this one. But, and then different wheel backs. I'll get to that here in a second. And then the decal sheet. But this also comes with these tires. They're a bit more generic, just plain, got some nice tread on them, but they're not the same Goodyear polyglass tires. These are a bit more generic, and they work pretty nice, but I kind of like the polyglass ones a little bit better. But here's the decal sheet. So this is one of the major differences here. You got the ZL1, USA1, a lot of the same badges. There's the bow ties. Now you put one on the deck lid, but the one on the grill, there is no change to the grill. They recommend that you cut that out on the paper and the instructions and glue that right to the grill with the white glue. Instructions are pretty nice. I did notice one thing, my research on the ZL1 Camaros, they're telling you to paint the engine block orange. On the ZL1s, when I was looking at them, they're aluminum blocks, and they didn't paint the engines from what I understand. So the block and head should be aluminum. The front timing cover, oil pan, and water pump should just be black, not Chevrolet orange or red. But it tells you to paint it just like that. It's got the headers in it, just like all the rest of them. All of these have the headers and the chambered exhaust. Same. And then here's my RS grill and a couple of resin RS grills because I want to make this one an actual rally sport. But I got to change a few things. And here's the chrome tree. Now, it's got the SS grill on this one, so you can make this one an RS SS, but it wouldn't have the SS emblems on the ZL1 or a Copo. Would just have the standard RS emblem in the grill, but it's included in this one. The same Baldwin Motion hood pins, mirrors, and all the stuff up here, but it's got the door handles. The body still has the molded in door handles. You can sand them off and use these, but that's from the convertible and one carburetor. So both of these kits have this chrome tree instead, and then the standard rally wheels are included instead of the Copo ones. So those wheels are in there as well. And here's all my notes. This is kind of cool. This is 14 pages, but it's the ZL1 Camaro. It's all 69 VIN numbers and how they were optioned up. So it tells you exactly how they were built. And only 2 of them were RS models. But I want to make number 68, which is why I highlighted it. And it tells you the options, what it had, where it was sold. And I can tell you Craig Jackson owns it now. So the 2 RS ones are very specific and very unique. And I want to build one of those, which is what this kit is. Now this one, this is the newest one, and I know people have been showing it and everything, so you pretty much have seen the contents of this one. So this year, 2022. All right, now they didn't change much for this one. I mentioned it's the same body, still has Camaro, no SS emblems on the body, which would be nice if they molded them in, but they're not there. The same here. You've got the standard grille, all of the same stuff here, chambered exhaust. Here's the new hood, of course. So no cowl induction hood, just this hood. Still got your front spoiler. All those parts are still in here. Same chassis. All this stuff is the same. Nothing changed here. Matter of fact, all of these white trees are the same. Here's those same plain dog dish wheels. And of course, the cowl induction, which you really don't need this stuff. You can just put the chrome air cleaner right on the carburetor, not use this, to give you the stock 396. There's the headers. So no stock exhaust. Still has the headers and chambered exhaust. Here's that exact same chrome tree again with the SS grill and all this. But here's the newest parts. There's the inserts right there for the hood. And then what nobody else has really mentioned, there's the SS emblem right there that actually glues onto the grill, the standard grill. So they do give you an actual emblem to glue in there. And then same thing, the convertible door handles, even though they're still molded to the body. There's the dog dish wheels. And those same plain generic tires. Both sets of taillights, of course. And really nice instructions. And tells you, where to stick everything, of course. And has a BF Goodrich radial TAs, which I kind of disagree with. It shouldn't have that. But they are on the decal sheet. BF Goodrich radial TAs. Here's the SS stripes that go on the sides with the 396 badges. The chrome on the sides, the SS on the grill on the rear panel, 396. So you can put the 396 with the stripes or without the stripes. Then all the gauges and everything else. So there's all of the decals. So it's a pretty nice and comprehensive decal sheet with both 396s, the 325 horse and a 375 horse version. So pretty nice decal sheet and comes with pretty much everything you need right there. So pretty conclusive of all of that. But other than not coming with the hood, it's got everything else in there. So now I don't have any particular plans with this particular version. So we'll see what when I get to it and what I end up doing it. But I've showed this one and I built this one. That's the MPC hood that I mentioned earlier in the video. That's what I used. And then just lowered the air cleaner down a little bit and used that. Just detailed it up. But on this one, I did go with the regular exhaust from the Copo Nova and the manifolds. But as I found out, when you use those manifolds, you really have to clearance the inside of that cross member for the engine to sit down. Once you do, it all pretty much drops right in. This exhaust system drops right in. So this one is not built right out of the box. There's a lot of stuff I did to this one with photo etch emblems and stuff, but I built this before that kit came out. So I'll probably do a standard SS. Oops, just knocked the mirror off. I'll probably do a standard SS. And then I've shown these before too, where I built them mostly out of the box, but I sanded through the grill right there. And so it's visible. And I put disc brakes and drum brakes on it and changed out the wheels so that you can see through them instead of the plain black that those have. So these are not quite built out of the box. This one's the same way. This is my original 1990 issue, but I did the same thing. I put the brakes in it and sanded through the grill to make it transparent. So both of those are built the same way, although that's a 30-year-old build. That one's about a 10-year-old build, maybe 15. And then that's really recent. That's probably last 10 years. But anyway, that's all the contents and all your planning there. So if you've got a specific 69 Camaro SS or Z28 or whatever you want to build, I hope this helps you and shows you all of the kit and components in there. One other thing I forgot to mention, these kits, the 427 ones, do not have the center console in it. So if you're looking for that center console, you'll have to get that out of a convertible or the Z28 kit. So that's another part that is not included. And while these ones have the grills in them for the Rally Sport versions, Not all the parts are there or to build an accurate version, but that's okay. It's still a very nice kit, even though it's 30 years old, and they build up really, really nice. I really like this kit. So, definitely one of my favorites, as you can tell, is I got so many of them and so many plans on how I want to build them. So I hope this helps you, even though it's kind of a long video. So you guys, thank you for your comments and your subscriptions and your likes. I really appreciate it. And you guys, you have a wonderful Saturday, and I will see you next weekend.